I get it. When you first look at this problem, your first reaction could be that, hey, why do I even need to solve it? There are multiplication and division operators available in almost every programming languages. So why should I bother? Well, the answer to this statement is that these kind of problems involve some concepts from mathematics. And if you're good in maths, naturally you will be good at writing programs too. So that is the balance. And that is why interviewers want to see that, okay, what kind of an approach do you come up with? So let us try to explore this problem and see what we can do about it. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. First of all, let's make sure that we understand the problem statement correctly. In this problem, you are given two integers, basically a number and a divisor. And you have to return me the division of both of these numbers without using the multiplication operator or using the division operator. So essentially, what I'm looking for is 35 divided by 3. And the answer that I'm expecting is 11 over here, with a remainder of 2. I'm not expecting a decimal value. I am mostly interested in this 11. Surely, we can work for the decimal part also, and we can also work for the remainder part. But just for this problem itself, I am only interested in the integer division. So when I say 35 divided by 3, I am only interested in finding the answer 11. That is it. You get the idea, right? For example, when I say 51 divided by 5, so I am only expecting 10. So this is the approach over here, and that is the expectation. And it is always good to clarify all of these requirements. Because let us say you see this problem in an interview, and your mind could be thinking that, okay, how will I solve for decimal numbers? What will I do after the dot? So clarify all of this. Since you're given two integers, that is the answer I'm expecting as well. Now that you have established all of this foundation, let us try to see how you can approach this. What could be the most naive approach in which you can solve such a problem? And remember that you don't have to use any multiplication or division operator. So once again, I have the number 35 over here and the divisor is 3. So I know for a fact that 35 divided by 3 will give me something. You know that this value is 11. So basically what I'm looking for, I am looking for 3 multiplied by something that is going to give me the answer, correct? Notice that we are not worried about the remainder right now. We only need to understand what could be this something that arrives me closest to this 35 value, correct? So if you have to do it mathematically, how can you approach it? The most naive approach could be that, okay, since this is the number, I can keep on adding it. So basically, I start with the number 3. I only have one occurrence of 3, so my counter is 1. Then what I can do is, I can try to add 3 again. So 3 plus 3 is basically 3 multiplied by 2, correct? So now what I'm saying is, my counter is 2 and my sum is 6. 6 is less than 35, correct? So that means I can add more. I try to add a 3 again. So this is basically 3 multiplied by 3. So what I'm saying is, my counter is now 3. If you keep going ahead, 9 is still less than 35. So I can add a 3 again. If I add a 3, this is basically 3 multiplied by 4. And this is the counter that I'm keeping a track of. The sum is now 12. 12 is still less than 35. That means I can add more. This is now 3 into 5. So the counter is now 5. I can add one more number. So this is 3 multiplied by 6. This is the counter now. So I get one more number. You get the idea, right? You will keep on adding until your sum is less than 35. And you will notice that you can keep on doing it for 11 times. Up till 11 times, this total sum will be 33. And what you have found out? You have found out 3 into 11. Correct? So naturally, this counter, this will be 11. So far so good. What happens if you try to add a 3 again? This time, this total sum will become 36. 36 is greater than 35. So that is telling me I needed to stop over here. I don't need to add more 3s. And this is going to tell me that, okay, 11 is the answer. That is the most naive approach. You are literally trying to add the divisor again and again and trying to find out the answer. And this is a perfectly valid approach. It works for all of the small numbers. But try to think what will happen if your number is very huge. Let us say your number is 3456 and you are trying to divide it by the number 4. So what will you do? You will keep on adding 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, and it will be a huge sequence. You are going to waste a lot of time just to get at your answer. So naturally, this is not the most optimal solution. We need to do something about it. But before we go there, you need to understand about a very important mathematical concept. If you remember, there was a theorem known as Binomial Theorem. Now, we are not going to go into all of those details, but the major takeaway from that theorem is that any number, any integer can be expressed as powers of 2. Because 2 to the power of 0 is 1 and 2 to the power of 1 is 2. So basically, you have the number 2 and you have an odd number 1 as well. So you can keep on adding all of these numbers with different powers of 2 to get your answer. I'll tell you what I mean. So for example, the number 12. It can be represented as 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 2. The number 56 can be represented like this. Notice, these are all powers of 2. And every time, for example, the number 134, I have 2 to the power 7, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 1. Notice, it is still powers of 2. But every time, I am trying to start off with the biggest power of 2 possible. And then I look for smaller powers of 2. If nothing else works out, I will be having a remainder of 1 over here, and that will be 2 to the power of 0, correct? Similarly, if you try to look at even larger numbers, for example, 78857, if you try to expand it out, it can look something like this. Notice, I start off with such a huge number, then I go on to smaller numbers and eventually 0. So, this is the major takeaway, and you must be aware about it. Any number can be expressed as a power of 2. Think about it. Why do you need to know all of this? Because we are trying to simplify how many times do we need to add the number. Currently, we were doing 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 so many times. But if you look at the problem from a different angle, there might be an easier solution. Let us try to break it down. Once again, I had the number 35 and this was my divisor, correct? So, what were you trying to find out? You were trying to find out 3 into something. This something is your answer, correct? And we want to get as close to 35 as possible, correct? 3 into this something, this was 11, and this gave me 33. This is very close to 35, right? So, we have established that any number can be expressed as powers of 2. So, this something can also be broken down into powers of 2. So, can I write this particular part something like this? I'm saying that 3 multiplied by all of these powers of 2. And currently, I do not know what the value of n1, n2, n3 and all of these are. But the goal over here is that I can try to find out the largest power of 2 first. If I find out the largest power of 2, I have reduced such a big chunk, and that will help me to find my answer in a very smaller manner. So how do you find out these powers of 2? For example, I need to start off with n1. What is the biggest power of 2 that you can subtract? So let us try to find out n1 first. I can start off with 3 multiplied by 2 to the power of 0. So that is 3 into 1 and that is 3. I can remove 3 from 35, yes. But let us look at bigger powers also. 3 into 2 to the power of 1. That is 3 into 2, 6. So I get 6 over here. I can remove this also. 3 into 2 to the power of 2. So that is 3 into 4 and I get a 12. Let us look next. 3 into 2 to the power 3. 2 to the power 3 is 8. 8 into 3 is 24. Notice, we have arrived so much closer to 35. But you need to explore more. 3 into 2 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4 is 16. 16 into 3 is 48. Notice that you cannot remove 48 because we are already at 35. That is the limit. So we need to stop over here. So I need to remove this. So essentially what I'm saying is that n1, this equals to 3. I have now removed such a big chunk. Instead of going 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 all the times, I am immediately removing all of this. So what did we start with? We started with the number 35, correct? And we have removed n1. So once you remove this 24, what are you remaining with? You are only remaining with 35 minus 24 and that is 11. So now you need to find out what will be the value of n2. And once again, we are going to follow the same approach. 3 into 2 to the power of 0, that is equals to 3. Yes, you can remove it, but look for bigger powers. 3 into 2 to the power of 1, that is 6. Yes, you can remove it. 3 into 2 to the power of 2, that is 12. Notice, As soon as this number is greater than this, you cannot remove it. So I need to stop over here. So what am I saying? This value won't hold, and the value of n2, that is actually equals to 1. So we are done calculating n2 as well. We started off with 35, we were left with only 11, and now what are we left with? We are left with 11 minus 6, and that is a 5. Try to find out n3 again. To find out n3, 3 into 2 to the power of 0, that is equals to 3. Yes, you can remove it. 3 into 2 to the power of 1, that is 6. You cannot remove 6 from 5, so this value does not hold true for me. So I am only interested in 2 to the power of 0. So the value of n3 is actually 0. And notice what happens now. If I try to remove 5 minus 3, I am remaining with the number 2. And 2 is smaller than the divisor. So I cannot go ahead. So what did I just do? I actually found out my answer. The answer is 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 1 plus 2 to the power of 0. And if you calculate it, that is 8 plus 2 plus 1. And that is 11. And that is what we were looking in the first place. Correct? So instead of going step by step, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, we expanded our solution in the form of a binomial coefficient. And we tried to remove the longest and the biggest powers of 2 possible. And we were doing it for every number. And because this is an exponential increase, you find a 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3. This is exponential, right? So all of these operations, these are actually just happening in log of n time, not n. So our time complexity reduced from order of n to just log of n. And that is a very big achievement. Now let us quickly try to do a dry run of the code and see how it works in action where you are not using any multiplication operators either. Let us go over this code step by step. I first initialize a value that is my answer. This is gonna store the answer. And notice I have the number and the divisor. So what do? Remember that how long do you have to run the process? Until your number gets reduced and this is still greater than the divisor. At the very end, you remember our number had just reduced to 2. So 2 is no longer greater than 3. So that is where you stop. But until then, you will keep on running this loop. And in this loop, what you're just going to do is you will keep on trying to find out that, okay, this is the value of n1, this is the value of n2 and so on, correct? So now what do? I have a count variable. This count variable is actually the powers of 2. 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2. And remember, I started off with 2 to the power of 0, correct? Next, you will have your while loop. And this while loop is equivalent to checking if your number multiplied by 2 to the power of something is less than my original number that I have. So this is my original number, correct? And I'm checking, is this greater than divisor with a left shift of count plus 1? So essentially, this is translating into divisor multiplied by 2 to the power of count plus 1. And this is how we are able to remove this multiplication operator and use the left shift operator. If you're unaware about the left shift operators, I would highly recommend you to check out my initial videos first, where I discuss that how do you interpret these left shift operators and what do they actually mean. So with this, I am now checking that, okay, 3 into 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2. And I keep on doing it until I am smaller than the number. And at every iteration, I increase my count. So what will happen in the first time? It will go 2 to the power of 0, 1, 2, and 3. You know that it will stop at 3 because when 2 to the power of 4, then this entire thing becomes greater than the number itself. So the value of count is now 3. And how did I get the answer? Once again, what did I do? Answer equals to answer plus 2 to the power of that particular number. Remember what we did? 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 1 plus 2 to the power of 0. And that is what I'm doing over here. So at this point, what I'm saying is answer equals to answer plus 2 to the power of count. That is what I did. And count is 3. I am done with this. Now is the part where I actually reduce my number. So I do number equals to number minus this divisor with a left shift of count. So what this is going to do is number equals to number minus 3 into 2 to the power of this count. This is what we did in the original place also, right? We had 35 and what did we remove? From 35, we removed 3 into 2 to the power of 3. In the first iteration, this is the value of count, right? That is what I'm removing at every instance. Once this loop ends, you iterate again. Your number is 35 minus 24, that is 11. 11 is still greater than divisor, so you start the loop again. And this time, you're gonna find out 2 to the power of 1. And eventually, as you move ahead, you would have found out the answer. The answer will be 2 to the power of 3 plus 2 to the power of 1 plus 2 to the power of 0. And that's it. Once your loop ends, this entire thing is returned as the answer over here. And notice, in this entire code, we did not use any multiplication operator, we did not use any division operator, and yet we are able to solve this solution in an order of log n time. And it cannot get faster than this. I hope the problem statement and the solution are now pretty much clear to you. And I totally get it. It is very hard to get this kind of a solution in the first attempt. And you're never gonna able to solve it in an interview if you haven't done a similar kind of problem before. That is why it is better to understand some of these problems, not all of them. I know there will be multiple such problems which will let you play around all of these bitwise operators. But you have to be very careful and cautious what problems are you concentrating upon and what are the most important ones. So while going throughout the video, tell me what problems did you face and what other problems that you have seen that are asked frequently in an interview, which are not so obvious and they require some pre-hand knowledge before you can even attempt them. It is gonna become a real good collection, and I would be also very happy to discuss all of it with you. Once again, as a reminder, if you do like this kind of content, please do consider subscribing to my channel, as this really keeps me motivated and I can bring you more such content. Also, a huge shout out to all of the members who support my channel. You guys are the real rock stars and you keep on motivating me to bring more such content. Remember that as a member, you do get priority reply to your comments and early access to new videos as well. Stay tuned for my upcoming video. And remember that now you can schedule a one-to-one session with me and we can discuss about almost anything. See you there.